I pass it on to you.
Thank you, Musarat, for that. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you, Ikra Library, for having me again. It's been good. It's been really good to be able to share my knowledge with people within your group, and to be able to really come out and not just share my knowledge, but share my own experiences, and to be able to really make a difference and serve people from our community, with the information that I can share. So I'm going to pop up a PowerPoint, because that's how I'm going to explain everything. So give me a second here. Okay, there we go. All right. So this is what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk about our magnificent minds. And when I say minds, I mean two minds. We all have two minds. We have a conscious and a subconscious mind. And it is truly a path to change when we can understand our minds. All right. So let's get right into it. Whoops, sorry. I want to just talk about this quote by Imam Ali. All right. This quote came into my life literally just at this opportune time. So I had a life altering situation back in 2013, where I became a single mom. So I have a son. He's now 12, going to be 13 soon. But at that time, he was just a little over 4. And I had just become a single mom. And it was an interesting time in my life. A lot changed for me. I had my emotional impact by becoming a single parent. And this quote came to me. And this is something that came to, I've grown up with this, with a lot of people in my life telling me this. But when it came to me in an email, I just studied it a lot. And I was like, what does Imam Ali mean? Your sickness is within you, though you do not realize. And your cure is within, yet you do not see. So that just it kept going in my head. And so I really studied this a lot. And I just went on this path of personal growth, exploration, knowledge gathering. And it really started me on this amazing journey. And today I'm just so grateful for everything that's happened in my life, including the challenges. And I will tell you a little bit more about me when I get into the gratitude part. But I've had many challenges, as all of us always encounter. And it's this quote that has been at the back of my mind that has really given me the strength and the inspiration to keep going, and to keep going, and to, understand me more and more and more every single day, and become better every single day. Okay. So to me, it's all about the mind. Okay. We're going to talk about paradigms. We're going to talk about the stick person. Okay. And we're going to talk about some next steps, but we're also going to close off with some options. So for you to opt in to really create a change for you, because this is all about you. Okay. It's not about your spouse. It's not about your parents, your siblings, your children. It's about you, because we are always going to be with ourselves. So you will always be with you. People will come and go from your life, but you, no matter what happens, will always be with you. Paradigms. What is a paradigm? A paradigm, it's a mental program, and it has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior. And almost all of our behavior, it's habitual. So it's really all about our habits. Okay? That's what it is saying. Somebody is saying it's an invalid meeting ID. Sorry? Any? Okay. Um, Anyhow, okay. I think she's gotten it. Okay. Sorry. So it's all about our habits. Okay. Now, habits are a usual way of behaving. It's something that a person does often in a regular and repeated way. Okay. And you're probably thinking, why is she going over habits? But let me tell you something. Habits are something that are automatic. They just happen. You've nurtured and cultivated them over the years, and they're just happening. But they can be good, so they're serving you. But there can be habits that we've nurtured and cultivated over the years, that are not helping us. They're working against us. And if we don't have that self-awareness, if we don't increase the knowledge of understanding us, we're not going to be able to understand what is serving us and what is not serving us. Okay? So, this is key. We need to understand us. We need to understand our habits. Okay? And when I say automatic, you'll see when I talk about the stick person what I mean by automatic in terms of our habits. Okay? Paradigms now, there are a multitude of habits, right? That's what I said earlier. They're passed down from generation to generation. Okay? So we tend to, okay, we tend to inherit our paradigms, okay, from our childhood. Because when we're young, everything is wide open and we're just absorbing and absorbing. And that's why paradigms are habits that are passed down from generation to generation. Now, I mentioned I have a 12-year-old. I always tell him, be aware of the habits you're nurturing and cultivating. Be aware if they're serving you or if they're not. The ones that are not serving you, I tell my son, look for habits and cultivate and nurture those that are going to serve you. Replace the ones that are not serving you. Okay? He's old enough now and he understands his material enough to be aware of what I tell him. But that's something that if we're not aware, we're going to pass down from generation to generation. Paradigms are also the way you view yourself, the way you view the world, and the way we view opportunities. Opportunities are always coming our way, always. But our paradigm controls how we view them. Paradigms also control how we approach change and how we approach challenges. Challenges are always coming our way. They're there for a reason. They're there to help us grow. They're there to help us experience and learn more about ourselves, okay, so that we can shift things and move in the direction of what we want, okay? Many of us will focus on the challenge and stay stuck. We will not move and change. We will not take the challenge and learn and grow from it. We will not appreciate the challenge. Challenges are there to be appreciated. Lessons are repeated until they are learned. Okay? So, it's all about self-awareness. It's all about getting to know you and moving towards changing you. Change is inevitable. We're in a world of constant change. It's a fluidic world. Okay? And the self-awareness is going to move us in a place of wanting to change and become better. But we can't do that until we understand ourselves, until we can accept where we are, then we can start moving to where we want to go. Okay? It's all about the mind. It's all about your marvelous mind. So let's look at the mind and paradigms. Okay? But we want to look at your mind and your paradigm. So Dr. Thurman Fleet, he was very involved in 1934 in healing hearts and holistic health. And he created this figure that Proctor Gallagher Institute, Bob Proctor, who is somebody who lives pretty much in my backyard, same town as me here in Toronto, Thornhill. He actually introduced me to this idea and he picked it up from Dr. Thurman Fleet, and it's the stick person. And that's what I want to get into now, okay? So Dr. Thurman Fleet says the mind is an activity. It's not a thing. All right. I know before I got introduced to this idea, I used to think of the mind, I used to think of the brain, the picture of the brain, but it's not. Okay. It's an activity. But nobody had ever really seen the mind. So what Dr. Fleet did is he wanted to get clarity, right? And we actually, as human beings, think better when it comes to pictures. So he wanted to eliminate confusion. So he created an image that we can work with. Okay. And I'm telling you, this image, the stick person, when I learned this about 4 years ago now, it totally changed the way I saw myself. It helped me understand the conscious and subconscious mind so much better. And every time I look at it, it just increases my understanding more and more each time. Okay? So this is the stick person. We have a big circle at the top and a small circle at the bottom. The big circle represents the mind. The bottom circle represents the body. Our body, okay, is an instrument of our mind. We are spiritual beings with an intellect, which is our minds, in a physical body. Okay? The body, it's just a vessel. It's our mind, okay, our intellect. We're spiritual. We're going to be spiritual forever. But it's our intellect that we have been blessed with by Allah, and we can use that to literally propel us to where we want to go. And our body is just an instrument of the mind. Whatever the mind tells it to do, it'll do. Okay? So that's why the big circle represents the mind, because that's where the power is. We've got our conscious mind. We've got our subconscious mind. Remember I said at the start, we have two minds. And then the body is the body. Okay? So that's the stick person, just in a quick nutshell. But let's expand on this and understand the difference between the conscious and unconscious mind. Okay? So our conscious mind, okay, is our thinking mind. This is where we generate our thoughts. And our thoughts is the starting point for everything. Literally, it's the starting point for everything. Okay? And we want to start to become aware of our thoughts. When we can be aware of our thoughts, literally observe them. Okay? If you've read the book, The Untethered Soul, okay, there's a chapter in there, okay, that he talks about your inner roommate. That's your thinking. It's that inner dialogue, that inner conversation that we are having all the time with ourselves. Okay? And if you haven't read this book, I encourage you to read it. I just finished it with a group of people I've been doing some book clubs with. I did it for the third time. I did it twice last year, and I just finished it in the month of Ramadan. I have it on my YouTube as an unlisted playlist. If you are interested in getting it, please send me a message. My contact info I will provide you at the end. Okay? I will get you the link. All right? And you can go in and watch. But it's a phenomenal book. But it all starts with observing your thinking. Okay? So that's our conscious mind. It's our thinking mind. This is where, in the conscious mind, our senses are. So we hear, see, smell, taste, and touch through our conscious mind. Okay? It's also where our intellectual faculties reside. So will, perception, reason, memory, imagination, and intuition. Imagination is the favorite in this for me. And I use it all the time to really go into the place of where I want to be. As children, we use imagination all the time. But somewhere along the lines, as we get older and go into adulthood, we tend not to use the imagination. But really, using the imagination is so important. And it's through our conscious mind that we can use these intellectual faculties. And we need our conscious mind to get into our subconscious mind. I'm going to explain that in a minute. Our conscious mind is also where we have our choice or free will. Choice is our greatest power. Okay? These are the things, choice, intellectual faculties, that really differentiate us in the animal kingdom. We are Allah's highest form of creation. We human beings. Okay? And we have the ability to choose, our greatest power. We have these intellectual faculties. Okay? And like the senses, all of the animal kingdoms have it. But these we have for us. And this is where our power lies. Okay? Now, our subconscious mind, so remember, we have to use our conscious mind to get into our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is our emotional mind. It's our feeling mind. It's where the heart is, the spirit is. Okay? And this is 95% of our being, our subconscious mind. Our conscious mind is the strategy. Okay? It's 5%. Subconscious mind is the mindset. It's 95% of our being. Okay? And literally, success is 95% mindset and 5% strategy. Many of us, including myself in the past, go by strategy. We live by our senses. We live by the outside world. We live by, what we see, what we smell. But it's really all happening by our subconscious mind, and we don't even know it. And it's when we start to understand us, when we start to understand how the mind works, that's when we can start to nurture and cultivate our subconscious mind. Okay? Our subconscious mind does not have a choice. It has no judgment. It has no concept of time. Everything is present tense. It always accepts, does not reject. Whereas our conscious mind, we can accept or reject. Okay? Paradigms. I talked about paradigms. Okay? Paradigms are habits, they're our beliefs. It's where our mindset is. It's our self-image. Self-image is how we see ourselves. And we can never, ever outperform our self-image. It's where our emotional reactions are, our values. Everything is residing in our subconscious mind. That's why it's our autopilot. That's why it's 95% of our being. Because a lot of our stuff, a lot of the stuff we do, it just happens. And it's because it's nurtured and cultivated over the years in our subconscious mind. Okay? There are two ways to change your subconscious mind. Okay? Because if you've got stuff that's already happening, your paradigms, that once you start to become aware, you're like, wait a minute, I don't like the way this is happening. I don't like the way I've been doing this. I want to change something. Well, there's two ways: constant space repetition or an emotional impact. Many times, an emotional impact is something that's just going to happen, bam, okay? And you may not even be aware of it. But a lot of the times, many people with an emotional impact fall into the negative around it. Okay? So if you experience loss of a job, loss of a marriage, loss of a loved one, okay, those are all emotional impacts. Most of the time, we fall into the negativity around it. So we stay in the place of grief. We don't work through things. We stay in the place of grief around losing a job. We stay in the place of grief around, not being married anymore. And we just go in this circle and stay stuck. Okay? But if you start to understand you, and you truly start to look at what's working, what's not working, and you start to create the shift through constant space repetition, okay? And what that is putting some things in place, putting some thoughts and habits and nurturing and cultivating them, and constantly having that inner conversation, constantly, controlling your thinking, okay, so that it becomes habitual, so that you're changing your beliefs, you're changing your self-image, you're changing your habits. Okay, that's what the constant state space repetition is. I'm sure many of you have heard of affirmations. Well, affirmations are really anything we think or say to ourselves. Okay, there's the formal concept of creating something in the present tense, like I am powerful, or I know that Allah is always supporting me. Allah is always there for me. Allah is always providing for me, or I am I am worthy, because self-worth is a very big one. So those kinds of things are formal affirmations, but really it's all about what you're thinking. It's all about what you're saying to yourself, that inner dialogue, that inner conversation. Okay, those are very powerful. So what happens is our conscious mind, our thinking mind, okay, moves things to our subconscious mind and creates feelings. Okay, then it puts our body into vibration. We feel things and we start to, feel the effects of it within our body. Okay, that then moves us into action. Okay, and then it generates our results, our outcomes in our life. Okay, and results never lie. Okay, yesterday's thinking produces today's results. Today's thinking produces tomorrow's results. So you want to look at the results, because your results don't lie. And you want to look at the results and you want to say, okay, this is what I want. Are my results aligned with it? If they're not, then you got to start looking backwards and you got to change the thinking. Okay, so persistence and repetition are key. All of us are always persisting. Are we persisting towards what we want, or are we persisting towards what we don't want? Many times people focus on what we don't want instead of focusing on what we want. Okay, attention, our attention, okay, energy flows to what we're giving attention to. Everything is energy, everything, and I'm going to get into that in a minute as well. So what are you persisting and what are you repeating? Those are key. Those are very, very key elements. It takes between 18 to 284 days to form a habit. Again, it depends on what you're doing, how much persistence, how much repetition, with an average of 66 days. Okay. And for me, typically when I ask people to work on something, I ask them to do it minimum 40 days. Okay. I believe there's some hadiths around the 40-day mark as well. I don't know offhand. So the law of repetition, it's repeating something, a thought, which will generate a feeling, right? Which will move you to action, and you'll develop the skill. You want to repeat it over and over and over again until it becomes easy. It's routine. It's automatic. It's part of the subconscious. It becomes natural. You don't even have to think about it. It's effortless. It just happens. And if you think about it, all of our habits are like that, right? Brushing our teeth. That's a habit we nurtured and cultivated. Your parents helped you with that when you were a child. But it's become automatic. You wake up in the morning and you brush your teeth. But when you were a child, you didn't know how to do that. But your parents or the people around you supported you and helped you so that you generated that habit within you. It's the same thing with anything in our life. Okay? So basically, our thoughts lead to our feelings, which move us into action and create our results. So you have a choice. You could either stay the same or you can become a new you. It's up to us. It's really up to us what we want to do. Old you, continue on the path you've been on, or new you. But to change your results, you have to understand the mind. You have to understand what's happening in your mind because you are in control of you and you are in control of your thinking. Nobody can make you think something you do not want to think of. And so you can change your thinking, which will change your feelings, which will change your vibration and move you into action, and then it will create new results. But it's up to you. Einstein, he says, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. And this is physics. So energy, everything is energy. We're energy. I'm energy. My hand is energy. This bookshelf behind me is energy. The bookshelf is not moving because the energy is moving. It's moving so fast, so it stays still. But everything is energy. This is a world of energy that we're in. Okay, and it's up to us to match it. So when we're a massive energy, and you function on frequency, so we're emitting energy. So this is all about what you put out, you get back. It's a boomerang effect. And your thinking and your feelings and your actions are all putting energy out. And based on what you're putting out, you're going to get stuff back. So you want to put good out. When you put good out, you get good back. Right? In Surah Rahman, Allah says, right, that the reward of goodness is goodness. So whatever we put out, we're going to get back. But it's up to us to understand us, to be able to understand what we're putting out. Are you putting good energy out, or are you putting not so good energy out? Where are you in the emotional guidance scale? Are you in the top or on the bottom? Are you holding low vibrations, low feelings? Right? Are you staying in a place of fear? Are you staying in a place of worthiness, of guilt, of anger? Because if you are, then that's the energy you're putting out. But if you start to work on that and you start to understand and are aware and you change your thinking, and remember, we're responsible for ourselves. So if you start to change your thinking, you're going to start to put different energy out. So, quick review. Everyone, there's always thought power constantly. It's constantly flowing to us. It's flowing to and through us. Okay? And that's our thinking. That's our conscious mind, our thinking. That leads to our feelings. Okay? I remember I used to say a lot, I was in victim mode a lot. Okay? And when I say victim mode, I used to blame anything and everyone for what was happening with me. I never took responsibility. And I learned over the years that victims lose their control. Victims always lose. And so I shifted that from victim mode to now getting in control. I was always reacting. I was never responding. There are times I still react, but I'm able to catch myself faster, and then I move myself back into response mode. And I realize that it's my thinking that's generated that reaction. It's my thinking that's made me feel the way I feel. I used to always say, so and so said that to me, and now I feel hurt. And I used to blame that person. But I realize it's my thinking around that that's generating the feelings, and that's why I'm feeling the way I feel. So there's this thought power, energy that's always flowing to and through us, and that leads us to our feelings, which puts us into our vibration, our body into a vibration that moves us into action, and that generates our results. Now, our thoughts, they put out an energy. Our feelings put out an energy, and our actions put out an energy. So our thoughts, feelings, and actions, they constitute and make up our attitude. Now, I know when I was younger, my teachers, my parents, my elders or coaches, because I was very athletic, they would all say, have a better attitude or change your attitude. And I never understood what that meant until I got into PGI. And that's when I started to understand, oh, wait a minute, attitude is all three of those. And you want all of them to be aligned and in harmony with what you want. So if you're holding a feeling, a low vibration feeling, then look at your thought. What is the thought that I'm having that's generating that? I always do a self-check with myself throughout the day. And I ask myself, how am I feeling right now? And if I'm not feeling good, and you will know in your body, okay? If I'm not feeling good, well, what have I been thinking about for the last hour? And then I change it. I replace the thinking. And I bring in thinking that's going to help me feel better. And one of the things I always ask myself is, what do I need right this minute to make me feel better? What's a better reaching thought? Okay? It all stems back to you. Remember, this is about you. This is your path to change, should you choose to do so. Take 100% responsibility for your life. You have been blessed for as long as you have on this earth to make the best of everything, to make the best of you, to learn about you. Remember, Prophet Muhammad said, knowledge from the cradle to the grave. Learn, grow, expand, but take responsibility for your life. You have one shot at it. It's a journey. It's not a one-time thing. This is something, it's a process. You are where you are from all the conditioning over the years. It's not going to take overnight, and it's not going to be a one-time thing to change things. You're responsible for the results you're getting. Remember, past thinking created today's results. Today's thinking is going to generate tomorrow's results. If you don't like your results, change your thinking and your results will start to change. Take an honest look at your attitude and review it every day. When I wake up in the morning, I do some gratitude work and I thank Allah for giving me another day. And I thank Him for the bed and I thank Him for my sleep and everything. But I also ask myself some key questions. What kind of an attitude am I having today? What kind of an attitude do I need to have today to accomplish what I want to accomplish? And I've set what I want to accomplish the night before so that my day gets off to a good start. The first hour when we wake up is so critical. It really sets you up for the rest of the day. Quick review, stick person, conscious mind, subconscious mind, right? So conscious mind is your thinking mind, subconscious mind is your feeling mind, your emotional mind, okay? And body, it puts you into vibration. Your thinking leads to your feelings, which puts you into vibration and moves you into action. It's the vibration that'll move you into action, okay? Sometimes you just don't feel like doing anything. It's because you're low, you're in a low vibration. Low vibrations will not move you into the actions you want to generate the results you want. Okay. Gratitude. Let's few minutes about gratitude, okay, before I close off. Okay. And in Surah Ibrahim, Ayah 7, Allah says, if you're grateful, I will give you more. And this is This is paraphrased a little bit, right? I will give you more part. Okay. But it's important to understand, right, that we want to be grateful. And what is gratitude? You are appreciative of everything in your life, but more importantly, the challenges as well. And I know over this past year and a half, I've done a lot of different sessions in a lot of different settings, and a lot of people will talk about the challenges. Okay, and I've heard this in other sessions with other speakers as well. How do you, you know, how do you look at the challenges? It's very important. It's very important to understand that the challenges are there for a reason. They're there to help you grow. They're there to help you expand and express and to change things. They're giving you an indication of where you're at. And then you can use those challenges, thank Allah for them, and then use those challenges to move you where you want to go. Okay, so embrace them. A growth mindset embraces challenges. Okay, so gratitude is not just a positive emotion. It's not just an action, thank you, thank you. It's actually feeling it. Okay, feeling it deep within that, yes, you know what? I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for everything I have in my life right now, but I'm grateful for all the lessons I've learned over the years, the challenges that have come my way. And I mentioned to you, I've had many, many challenges. So for those that are not aware, I actually use a wheelchair. Okay. And I've been blessed and blessed by Allah. I've been able to, I came to Canada in 74, and I'm so grateful for my dad for making the decision. And Alhamdulillah, I've been able to accomplish so much. I've got an education, university education. I have my own business now. I have 20 plus years of corporate experience. I was married for a little less than a decade. I have my beautiful son who has been the light of my life, but he is my motivator. He is my motivator to be better and better. And when I first became a single mom, I was in a very chaotic place. My mind was very chaotic. There was a lot of emotional turmoil in me, but my son motivated me to become better, to learn about me and to become a better version of me each and every day. Because that's when I knew that if I worked on me and I became better, then I could be a better mom, that I could bring him up and raise him to be the best he can be. But if I don't work on me, I can't do that. And so I remember when I was in the corporate world and my son was born, I remember specifically being at a meeting, and I had made a comment that my son is the center of my universe. And after I became a single mom and I started on this journey and I started to get knowledge about personal growth, I realized that my son is an important part of my life and he always will be. But he's not the center of my universe. I am the center of my universe. My connection to Allah, that's what is the important thing for me. He's important, my son, and he always will be. And he motivates me. He motivates me, and he actually holds me accountable for a lot of things I say and do. And he calls me out on a lot of things, and I'm so grateful for that. But he's not the center of my universe. I support him, I guide him. He does a lot of things for me. Being a mom and experiencing motherhood has been my greatest blessing. And I have learned so much. Yes, there have been challenges along the way, but alhamdulillah, it's been great. And so other challenges that have come my way, other than, having to use a wheelchair all the time, but alhamdulillah, I've had so much. My mom passed away a little over 2 years ago. That was another challenge that came my way. But alhamdulillah, with all this knowledge, I was able to handle the physical loss of my mom in a very different way compared to what it would have been years ago if I didn't have this knowledge, if I didn't understand me. So there have been a lot of things that have come my way, but alhamdulillah, I've been able to take those challenges, embrace them, learn and grow from them, and just getting better and better. And I continue on that journey, and it's been amazing. Now, expressing gratitude, it'll instantly shift your energy, because if you're in a place of not being grateful, not being appreciative, you're in a low vibration. But when you start to look at things you have in your life things that have happened in your life in a positive way and you start to appreciate them, you will start to feel lighter. And so incorporating gratitude into your daily routine is very, very important. And especially when you're feeling low, I take gratitude breaks. So I do gratitude in the morning where I write out 10 things I'm grateful for. But I also do gratitude breaks in the day, and especially when I'm feeling low. I will instantly think of 3 things I'm grateful for, and it'll shift the way I'm feeling. Okay, there's a really good book, The Science of Getting Rich, by Wallace D. Wattles. He has an entire chapter 7, on gratitude. And he says in there, the entire process of mental adjustment, so shifting your mind, and atonement is letting go and releasing, can be summed up in one word: gratitude. Okay, so it'll expressing gratitude, going to a place of gratitude, it'll shift your energy. Okay, and a grateful mind is constantly fixed upon the best. When you are in a place of gratitude, you are looking at things, okay, from a place of appreciation. You are looking at things from a place of really, really aligning, okay, aligning with your higher self, and you're embracing it. And that's very important when it comes to personal growth. Okay, so that's a little bit about gratitude. Now, it all boils down to a decision. And I did a session last week with Ikra Library on decision, okay, making decisions and committed decisions. But it all comes down to deciding what you want. Do you want to stay where you are? Are you content with where you are? Then you don't have to make any decisions. But really, it's up to you whether you want to make a change or not. If you don't like what you have right now, start to make change. Make the decision, committed decision, that you are going to move towards what you want. And you're going to start to observe your thinking. And you're going to change your thinking. You're going to control your thinking, and it's doable. I've done it. I know a lot of people who've done it. But it's all up to you. You have to make the decision. And so, some next steps: raise your self-awareness. Get to know you. And get clarity on your intentions. Intention is so critical. It's so important in Islam. It's so important in our own living. So get clarity on your intention. Okay? Practice gratitude daily. Write out 10 things you're grateful for, things you have, and things you want, all in the present tense. Okay? I am or I have is present tense. I will is future tense. And I will is basically saying I don't have it, or I'm not going to have it. So do it in the present tense. And remember, the subconscious mind only works on the present tense. So you're nurturing and cultivating. When you put something, I am, even though you're not, you're saying it I am, so that the subconscious mind, because it'll believe it. Okay, and it's all going to generate the belief, and then it'll move you into action. There are 2 times a day that your subconscious mind is in a hypnotic state. That's times to talk to your subconscious mind. It's first thing in the morning or last thing before you go to bed. Okay? Your conscious mind will stop working when you go to bed. Your subconscious mind is working 24/7. So that's why it's important before you go to sleep to have positive thoughts. Because you want those positive thoughts to keep working overnight. Notice your emotional impacts, okay? And be honest. It will set you free if you're honest. You can sugarcoat things, but then you're not doing yourself any favors because it's not going to change anything. So be aware of your emotional well-being. Be aware of how you're feeling. Ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? And be honest. And when you feel like giving up, keep going. It takes time to change a habit. And that's going to be really the time that it's going to take to change something is up to you. It's going to be only you will know. Okay? It may take a week, it may take a month, it may take 2 months. But you will know when it's become a habit and when you've changed it. And something may trigger it down the road, but that's another layer of healing that needs to happen. That's another layer of releasing. that you can do. So let's talk about opt-in. You can book a discovery call with me via my email or a WhatsApp message to me. Okay. And I would be more than happy to get on a Zoom call with you to really talk about what's happening with you, what you want, okay, and ways that I can help you, ways that I can work with you, and give you some guidance on how you can move towards what you want. Okay. And this is something that you've got to make a decision, and this is something I can help you with. So book that call. All right. And don't wait. Now is the best time. There's no better time than now. Okay. You can join my Facebook group. There's the link. Okay. This Facebook group is a group of people who are looking to really, really create shifts within themselves. I have some videos in there right now. I ran a workshop 2-3 weeks ago, a 5-day workshop where I do these complimentary ones. And I'm going to be running it again sometime either later this month or early in July. Okay, so get into the Facebook group. There are lives that I do, and you can watch the replay. It's available as well. Okay, so that's another way you can opt in. And then the last way is you can opt into my WhatsApp group. Okay, I know many of you opted in last week from there, from the ICRA library, and this group is a very active group. I will tell you that much. A lot of people post inspirational things around mindset, motivating things around mindset, but it's not a religious group. It's just a group around mindset. So inspirational quotes, inspirational videos, and I also use it as a form of communication around stuff that I'm doing in different groups, right? So that people are aware and they can join, whether it's a Zoom call, whether it's a Facebook session, and or what have you. Okay, so those are 3 ways that you can opt in and really start on a path of change for you. And remember, it's all about you. It's all about getting to know you. Okay, I went a little longer than I wanted, but I'm gonna stop the PowerPoint and we can answer some questions.
Thank you so much, Mubina. That was beautiful. I think you covered it so well, and the pace was spot on. I think we got a chance to absorb what you're saying and kind of reflect on it as well. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your experiences and the challenges that you faced as well. So life isn't all, straight path as well. We'll all face some challenges, and as you said, it's our decision what to make out of it as well. I think I would like to say thank you to your son as well for motivating you as well. And you're here today, Alhamdulillah, one of the reasons, and it's transformed you as well. So thank you to him as well. We'll open for anybody who's got any questions to ask. Please feel free to unmute yourself. Anyone's got any questions, or if you've got any private messages?
No, there's no private messages that have come in.
I think we've got somebody called Imran.
Okay, yeah, sure. Go ahead, Imran.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for this really lovely presentation. I'm curious about your take on, gratitude, and you quoted the Noble Quran that, God will increase you with gratitude, I think you said. And I'm curious as to whether you find gratitude as a mindset that needs to be cultivated like a skill, or is it a state that you ultimately find yourself in regularly?
So it is a state that you find yourself in. However, it is something you have to nurture and cultivate. Okay. So like anything in life, okay, when you first start practicing it, it is a bit of a challenge. It does take some effort to really nurture and cultivate it. Okay. Because it's a shift. It's a shift in how you operate, right? So it's something that you got to do regularly, right? And when you do it regularly, it becomes automatic. And so when I first started doing gratitude, it was a big challenge for me, especially, to appreciate the challenges. But I started to just do it. And at first, I did it as a intellectual thing. Okay, so I was doing it in my conscious mind and I was just writing things out, but I wasn't really feeling it. Then I started to look at gratitude as a spiritual practice, a part of who I am. And when I started doing that, it really started to change within the subconscious mind, you know, and it started to generate the feeling of just, yes, wow, you know, like, and again, that was something that it becomes a state of mind provided you do the work. And everything that I talk about, it's all about how much time and effort you're willing to put. Okay. And what I always tell people is start with like 15 minutes. Okay. And work your way up. And then you'll find before you know it, if you keep doing it persistently, okay, it'll become a habit for you, and it'll just become a part of you. And that's what gratitude has become for me. So a lot of the times I know that when I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, okay, I know that there's growth happening. And the bigger the discomfort, the bigger the payoff, the bigger the growth. And so now, when it comes to gratitude, I actually, when I start to feel that uncomfortableness, and you'll feel it in your body, okay? That's when I start to say, okay, thank you, Allah. Thank you, Allah, for this opportunity. You know, thank you for this feeling, because I know that it's good for me. I know that it's another opportunity to expand and grow, etc. Okay, I hope that helps, Imran.
Right.
Okay,
Really, thank you.
you're
Thank
welcome.
you. So just touching on that gratitude bit. So I know we're probably used to in our, from birth onwards saying thank you for everything. Do you think it's really important to say what you're thanking for in terms of helping you appreciate it, or, just being aware of what you're thanking for and feeling it as well?
You want to, when you're doing gratitude, you want to really, it's not just saying thank you, it's feeling it. Okay, so when you're feeling, when you're saying gratitude for whatever, like let's say you've got a challenge, okay, so let's look at me with my becoming a single mom. So being married was very important to me, right? When I was in my 20s and 30s, all my friends were getting married, and I was 34 when I got married. So I got married, and then I wasn't married suddenly. And I remember that when I got divorced, it was month of Ramadan, and we were at the mosque and we were eating, doing iftar. And one of my relatives said to me, like, aren't you upset with Allah? I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said this to me, and I said, why? And she goes, because you really wanted to be married and now you're not. I said, well, you know what? I'm not, but I'm grateful for the experience. And at that time, I remember I said it intellectually. I didn't feel, because in my subconscious mind I was still feeling that anger, that rage of what I was going through, because I was in emotional turmoil. I was in chaotic mind. But as the years went on, and as I worked through, and this is like almost 9 years ago I'm talking about now. So as I went through understanding me and my self-awareness increased, I literally, when I think about it, I'm so grateful for the experience. And back in May, with Mother's Day happening, I was truly just so grateful for the experience of being married. Yeah, it was hard during the marriage, but now as I reflect back, it's just, I can feel the gratitude, because I got a son out of it, but I also got to do my Hajj from it. So I looked for the things, right, that the positive stuff that came out of it. And I am who I am today because of those 10 years. I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for that. So
yeah. So is it sometimes quite difficult to find the gratitude, why you gratitude at that moment? Maybe sometimes, obviously, we all go through that after a week or so, then you sometimes grateful that you didn't get that job, or it's really hard to put yourself at that position at that time, isn't it, to find something that you're grateful for, why this thing happened, isn't it?
Well, I would say no to that. And the reason I say that is because when my mom passed away, right, she passed away February 2019. And I'm so grateful that I'd already been, a lot of this knowledge that I have now, I had it before I got into met Bob Proctor. But the way Bob Proctor explained things to me, and the whole stick person and everything, I had that knowledge before my mom passed away. And that experience was very different for me. Um, and I attribute that to my knowledge and understanding of me. And I have found, as I've gotten to know me more and more and more, the challenges come my way all the time, like they do for everybody. I'm able to manage and handle them very differently. And I'm able to go into a place of gratitude. And I've cultivated and nurtured so that I'm in a gratitude state. So even on a day in, day out basis, when things happen that I don't necessarily want them to happen, I'm able to, first of all, take responsibility of my part in it, because I co-created that and I contributed to that. Okay. I know everything comes through Allah, but I had a part in the experience I'm having. And so I go into that, I understand it, but then I look at it from a place of gratitude. So it's a state I've nurtured and cultivated, and it's gotten easier.
Excellent. Thank you. If anyone has any questions?
Yeah, so there's a question privately to me. Oh, here, it's not private, it's for everybody. My daughter keeps biting her nails. She does it unconsciously. Please help. Okay, so here's where the constant spaced repetition is very, very helpful. Okay, you got to come up with an affirmation, right? A lot of the times, something like nail biting is just a form of, it's just, you're not feeling calmness. Okay, so something as simple as, she could say, and I don't know how old your daughter is, but she could say something as like, I am calm, I'm relaxed, right? And if she constantly says that, she can even write it out. I would encourage you to get her to write it out. Okay, write it out. I would say 5 to 14 times in the morning, 5 to 14 times in the evening. Okay, and do it for 40 days, and she's going to start to feel calmness, right? And she won't do it. Don't say to her, "Don't bite your nails," because every time you do that, you're perpetuating that she's biting her nails, right? So just get her to, I am calm and relaxed. I had a young boy. I did this session like a few years back, with younger children, and there was a boy in the crowd. He must have been like, I don't know, 9 or 10 years old. I can't remember now. And he said to me, he goes, how do I stop being angry? And he recognized, good for him, that he would, get angry and upset and yell at his parents sometimes. And so he asked me, and I said to him, I said, just something like, you know what? I am calm. Say that to yourself constantly. So he did it. And a few weeks later, I ran into him somewhere. And he said to me, he goes, Mubina, thank you. I'm like, thank you for what? He goes, you told me to do this, and I did it. And I don't do that anymore. I said, what are you talking about? And then he explained to me. And I said, oh, great. So it's so powerful what we tell ourselves. It's really, really powerful. Okay, and you want to understand the habit that you're doing. So in the case of the nail biting, but you want to understand the root of it, and then you want to cultivate and nurture what you want.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
any questions, or should I add one more? I think you said about positive energy. Now, when somebody is in physical pain, or illnesses, how do you try and keep that positive energy going? I know you mentioned about in the morning gratitude as well, but a lot of people, when they wake up in the morning, they're in pain. When they go to bed, they're in pain. How do you try and put that positive energy up high?
So this is something I do for myself. When I go to bed, one of the last things I say to myself is, I am healthy. Always. Because I want to have that cultivated and nurtured for me, especially overnight. And there are times that I wake up, or and I feel a little stiff, okay? And I use my mind to really overcome that. And I will tell myself, I'm fine. My son will tell me, you got to use your mind, mommy. But I'll tell you, the mornings that I wake up feeling stiff are days that I've actually thought about feeling that way before I go to bed. And so it's important to understand the correlation between how you wake up and what has happened before you go to bed. Okay. But if you're experiencing pain or, just aches and stuff, right? You've got to start believing that you're healthy. You've got to start believing that, you're strong and vibrant. Okay, I actually created, if you go to my YouTube channel and it's just Mubina Jaffer, you'll see there's actually a 5 minutes and 55 seconds, my magical time. I've created this, it's like a visualization, it's like a meditation, right? And all I say in there is I am well, I am healed, I am strong, and I am vibrant. Okay, and I repeat that over and over again for 5 minutes and 55 seconds with some soft background music, right? Like, you know, and at the end, I just say, thank you, Allah, or thank you, God, I say, not Allah, because this is open to everybody, right? And listen to that. Listen to that every day, right? At least once a day, and you'll start to believe it. And when you start to believe it, you won't feel those aches and pains. If there are medical things happening, you got to go see a medical practitioner, because I'm not a medical practitioner. Okay, so I encourage you to go and see, obviously, a medical practitioner. But you also have a lot of power within, right? And it's mind over matter, right? A lot of that is mind over matter.
Thank you so much. Has anybody got any questions before we wrap it all up?
So I just got one. Salams, what did you study and how did you start on this study, on this journey? Okay. So I actually, one of the first books that I studied was a Louise Hay book. Okay. You Can Heal Your Life. Somebody had said that to me back then. I actually had a coach at the time and she had suggested that. And to be honest, I studied that book, I read it, but it didn't really make sense to me. A lot of the stuff that I read before PGI and Understanding the Mind didn't make sense to me, but now they make a lot of sense to me. So that book, You Can Heal Your Life, I did it as a book club back in the fall, and I actually recorded the session. So it's still available to anybody who wants to start to understand themselves better and wants to start to heal. If you're interested in that, you can reach out to me and I can, you know, get you access to that. And I just, like I said, my son was my motivator. I had a coach at the time, and you know, she gave me some tips and suggestions, and that's what I'm talking about when I say opt-in, right? So, you know, you're interested in this, I would highly recommend you send me a WhatsApp message or an email, preferably WhatsApp, and then I can get on a call with you, and you know, we can understand more of what is happening with you, and I can give you more guidance and direction on what could work.
You've definitely inspired a lot of us here. So thank you for that. Yes, I think we're okay to wrap it up. So thank you so much to everyone. It has been a really wonderful session. Learned a lot there as well. And inshallah, I know you haven't touched on the emotion side, but inshallah, I will contact you for further sessions on the emotion side. So I've not touched that topic yet, but inshallah, we'll get back to you on that. Thank you everyone for joining in. We will post and sorry, was anything?
I just want to say a couple of things. I did drop the links to my WhatsApp group and to my Facebook group to everybody in the chat here.
Excellent. So, and if anybody wants it, I've got the details as well, so you can message me. We will upload this session on YouTube when we get a chance, and inshallah, we will contact Sister Mubina next time as well. So thank you all for joining in.
Somebody's just sent a message. They want to hear more tips as a single mom. I encourage you to reach out to me, please, because you directly messaged me. Please reach out to me and we can talk offline, because I do have another call at 1:30, so I need to prepare for that, or 1:30 my time. So we're at the top of the hour. So the person who just messaged me around that, please contact me directly. Okay.
Thank you. And if there are any topics that Mubina you're passionate about, let me know, and Ikra Library can look into that as well. So it's been an honor to have you on today. So thank you everyone. Thank you.
Thank you everyone. Good afternoon.